Optimize settings. Start video transmission. You're live.
Oh my god. No, he said we're already live.
We're live right now. Zowie
We were
wowie.
supposed to do that before live.
I thought we did it like right as we went live. That was my bad.
Play it back.
Unprofessional.
Greetings and salutations, viewers of our humble cast stream. Play VODs.
Take it again one more time.
Nailed it. No notes.
Got it in one.
Welcome to another Misadventure, Mistadventure, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, this is not as professional as some of our intros, but you know, we're excited to be here and play some D&D. We're workshopping our intro before. Oh, I need music.
Unbelievable. I muted Captain Flowers for this.
What is this? Welcome to another stream in our horror campaign, Mistwardens Shroud, where we dive into the dread domain of Darkon. Our characters, Mistwardens, on a mission to save Darkon itself. We have Sam.
Hi. I'm Sam. I'm playing Rosemary.
We have Steven.
Hello, I'm Steven. I am playing Rabbit, Buster Case Lightfoot.
Was I supposed to do the voice?
You do whatever makes you feel nice.
Whatever you feel in the moment.
We have Ray.
Hey, I'm Ray. I'm playing Sully.
We have Taylor.
That's me. I'm playing Olin, the budding conspiracy theorist.
And we have Will.
Hello there. My name's Tobias. Is there something
That's good.
No, that's good.
Unironically best intro we've ever had.
Yeah. And I'm our humble DM, and we're gonna get right down to it. In our last adventure, our party spent some downtime in the city of Martira Bay. Got to know a serial killer after they thwarted his attempt to serial kill one of the members of the party. Found an abandoned apartment, which they are now squatting within the city, and completed a few odd jobs, including setting up an information network within the city of Martira Bay, setting up a conspiracy board with figuring out the big players in the city, practicing a few of their skills, and a couple of them just doing literal work within the city. Security work, cooking, working at bars, which has led us to a meeting that has been building for some time as our party goes to meet Erasmus Van Richten, aka the Bloody Ghost, for which the tavern, an inn, is named. After setting up a meeting with Erasmus Van Richten, they find themselves in a VIP room filled with the bones of animals on display across the wall, mixed with some random sailor, what's the word I'm looking for?
Decoration, bric-a-brac.
Yeah. All of those are great words. On the wall, random,
Tchotchkes.
Yes, but sailor tchotchkes. And
Nautical cheese. Sorry.
Not.
There's a long table in front of you, already with some food and drink laid out before you. On the far end of the table is a bluish translucent figure, wearing a long trench coat, short grizzled facial hair, as well as kind of like short messy hair, turns his attention to you. Probably the most noticeable thing is there is a slit along this ghost's neck with blood dripping down the front of his body. Yes, Rosemary?
Hi, was Rosemary informed beforehand that there would be a literal ghost here?
You know, that's a great question, because Rosemary is afraid of ghosts. I don't know, Buster, you knew that Erasmus was a ghost when you set up this meeting.
Oh, I definitely would have mentioned it.
Okay, yeah, so I'm not gonna go.
Oh, he's not
Very
a real
much in the
ghost,
way-
He's just a guy. He's like me.
I very much would have been like, oh, crazy thing named after ghost. Like, I don't judge, but like, ghost owning
Yeah,
bar.
no, I'm not. I'm not gonna go with that. I'll go do my own thing. Maybe wait for you in a different area of the bar.
Okay, so still at the Bloody Ghost, perhaps, but like waiting out by the bar area.
Not with the actual ghost.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
If there are any more ghosts, though, she will just straight up. You've
Yeah,
been-
and especially after being here for a while and after the run-in with the ghost parade, Buster's very sensitive to that, and he would most definitely take care of Rosemary and make sure she's aware of that. Knows like no ghosts are gonna come near you. We'll handle it. We're good.
Should one of us keep an eye on her to make sure that no ghosts scare her into the streets?
We do not have any ghost bartenders at the moment. Our last one quit because he wanted to go be jester or something.
A respectable line
No.
of work.
Bartending is a very difficult job at the end of the day.
Especially when you're not corporeal, I assume.
If you drop glasses all the time, it is hard to mix drinks. It fades. But I do not believe we'll have problem with ghosts. But if someone wants to stay and make meetings shorter, I will not stop you. But I believe she'll be fine.
Oh yeah, don't worry about me.
Rosemary.
Could you
Oh.
ask if he's seen my sister, though?
We'll make sure to ask.
She'll hand over a missing poster with a very crudely drawn self-portrait.
Cool.
It looks just like you.
Oh, thanks.
Spitting image.
So, we get that little scene. We cut to this meeting of Erasmus, who turns to look at you as you enter.
Sorry.
Oh, yes.
Before
No,
we
Olin,
do
go ahead.
that, Olin will look at the self-portrait and then kind of like block off the hair with his hands to see what she would look like with like a buzz
Mm.
head.
Well, that's a bold look.
Yeah. And then that's it. But trying to put the pieces of this puzzle together. But weird Rosemary.
And we all know Rosemary's not weird.
No, she's normal and cool.
Speaking of Olin, as we kind of like,
Quite
we had
offensive.
we have like this kind of like exchange occur, and as we see the party step into the rest of the party, other minus Rosemary, step into this room, the camera kind of pans, zooming in on Olin a little bit here. We have a little bit of a flashback.
Oh, that's like good shit.
You know I love a flashback.
We see what appears to be. Ooh, I'm going to change the music.
Ooh.
This is too dramatic.
No such thing as too dramatic. Lean into it.
I like this a lot.
We see a
really good.
laboratory of sorts. Several, what appear to be mages, scurrying about in a hurry, mostly surrounding a table in the center of a room. there is the arcane energy is so thick here that there's like little motes of like gold energy that seems to just be like floating in the air around. There is a sudden scream from the table before one wizard seems to push all the rest of them back. This wizard has a completely shaved head with tattoos going all the way down the back of his skull, down his neck, and we see as he like pulls back these dark robes, there's tattoos all down his arms and hands. And he says, "That's enough. I just need the name of the spirit to which we're binding to this body." And you see another wizard pops up and says, their name's Olin, sir. And the wizard nods his head, takes his hand, and we see the body on this table as the camera pans up over, and we see the form of a shape of Olin, though it's like wrapped in bandages, and there's like black and red liquid soaked into the bandages across this like entire body. The only part that is bare is on the chest, where there is a tattoo of a large eye that is kind of like revealed on what looks like very pale skin. That you can kind of like see the eye looks like it is almost made out of like metallic gold. And the wizard takes his hand and shoves it through the middle of the eye, and you see the fingers seem to disappear into the chest for a moment. And he says, "I summon you, spirit! Bind to this body!" And you see golden magic, the arcane motes in the air all seem to focus in on his hands, flooding into the corpse that seems to almost glow with golden magic. And just before our scene cuts back to here, we see the eyes open on this figure. Olin, freshly bound to this body. What are your first words as you awaken on this table?
This is not right.
And we see that scene before we cut back. Our meeting with Erasmus. His eyes kind of like look at Olin. They linger on them just like a little longer than the rest of the party, as if seeing a kindred spirit of sorts. Before he says, "Welcome, adventurers. Please come in."
Thank you.
I ordered some food. I can't tell you how good any of it is, to be honest. I've not eaten anything in decades.
It is delicious. I prepared myself, just finishing shift. Do not worry. It is great.
Oh, dang, Buster, I didn't even recognize you with all the armor on.
This is my weekend gig, as you can say. I'm not as covered in flour as you're used to.
I've heard you are relatively new to the city, causing a bit of a stir already, and perhaps had some questions for me.
Yes, we do have questions. Very many questions indeed. What the fuck is going on? Like, very many questions. Over this time that we spent in town, has it been cleared up to us, the ghost parade, like what started it? Has that been cleared up at all, or is that kind of one of the things we can get from him? That's one of the things that interests me the most, maybe.
You kind of know it happens every night. The people around, the common people, seem to take it for granted that it is going to happen.
And it's just so normalized that no one bats an eye.
Yes.
We talked about it last week a little bit, right? Where it's all the people who died that day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't gotten
After
any,
they
like...
burned their corpses, right?
So
Yeah.
they don't come back to life as zombies, effectively.
Yeah.
but we don't have any information as to like why it started or why it happens or if it's always happened.
Yeah.
But also, I realized as a group, like we set up this meeting with him, but we didn't have like a general list of like specific questions that we wanted to ask. Does anyone have any specific questions? Obviously, I want to know about what started the Ghost Parade.
Which we that can definitely be like the first question we lead up. Just to kind of remind you guys, Erasmus is, even though he seems bound to the inn himself, he is a self-declared detective and an active worker for an agency known as the Ray Agency, which has been kind of helping the local constabulary like find serial killers. So he's like a man who should theoretically have information, and his ghost has been bound here for several decades now.
So we should ask about the serial killers.
If that's something you're interested in.
Yeah.
With that being said, is your first question about the Ghost Parade?
Yes, assuming we don't have like a limit of questions. Like if it's like we come to see me for your questions 3, then like no, I'm not really worried about
questions.
Yeah.
But if it's like open, like he's just here to answer questions for whatever, then yeah, that's definitely one of them.
He seems perfectly willing to sit and answer your questions. He doesn't seem like he has a limit. He doesn't seem impatient at the start anyway. And he says, "Now I'm not sure how much I'll be able to help you, but if you were, I guess, Buster, how do you phrase the question about the Ghost Parade?
This
what's the first question?
this parade of ghosts that happens every night, we understand it is the bodies of all that have died within the day, that have not, how you say, taken mortal coil to wake in night and live as undead. These spirits walk from where they are cremated off to, I believe, Rex Crown is where they are going, to some place. Where specifically are they going, and when did this start? Like, why? What correlated with the dead rising and the ghosts walking?
It's an interesting question, and it's kind of funny how nobody really asks many questions about them anymore. Well, to start at the beginning, the ghosts have been walking the lands here for nigh on 60 years or so now. Same time as the Hour of Ascension happened, the King's Tear showed up in the sky, the mist started to move in, and the dead began to walk. So did the ghosts. Now, as to where they go, that's an interesting question. Most people don't really follow them. You may have noticed a lot of people staying at night when they're walking the streets. But there's some that think they march towards Rex Crown. I would be willing to bet money that if you were able to follow them through the Shroud itself, that they'd be walking towards Lichgate, though.
We've never heard the term Hour of Ascension yet.
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so either.
So, this Hour of Ascension, 60 years ago, and if I don't know if this is a very crude question, I don't know rules with life on life. How long ago was it that you passed into post life, and how long after or before Hour of Ascension was this? Because you are also Ghost, and yet you are here in Bar, which is great. You run very tight ship. Pay is on time, workers are happy, but it is strange. I'm not questioning like this is bad thing, but this is out of the ordinary because all ghosts walk, but you are here owning establishment.
Rasmus, who was like taking a seat at the end of the table, kind of slowly stands up and gives you like a glare, Buster, and says, "You're asking me when I died?
Oh no.
I did not mean to be rude.
I'm just messing with you." And he sits back down and
Oh,
says,
damn, you got me by my by my feet. Ugh.
You should have seen that one coming. That's some
I
undead
should have.
humor.
It was very morbid joke. You've had your way with me. Wait.
Well, you see, I died after slipping on a banana peel and busting my head."
Buster chuckles. Really?
No,
Is
not
this
really.
another
Obviously, my throat was slit. It's how I died. This was not something that, happened as a ghost or a spirit. But, I was unfortunately, you've heard of the Baron?
Yes.
Yes.
My father was, well, I guess you'd call him a monster hunter of sorts. The Baron's brother, who used to be kind of a big deal in these parts, was a vampire. And my father took it upon himself to end that vampire's life. And the Baron, for his part, was not too, or I guess I should say for her part, was not too happy about it. She, after realizing that my mother was already dead and was not going to give her the answer she wanted, came after me. And, well, I did not last long. Shortly after, my father disappeared completely. I assume the man's dead by now, but he was already getting up there in age. But yeah, the Baron is not my biggest fan, you could say.
I hope you will not begrudge the question, but then what is it that tethers you to this place? As I think you have related, I am also of the post-life situation. But
I thought I sensed that about you. Yeah, this is actually my old house. We've kind of remodeled it for the tavern, because what use does a ghost have with a house to himself? So I seem to be, my spirit, my ghost seems to be bound to the location in which I died, and I can't really move further than the building, so I make do with what I got.
Do you mind if I ask you a question? If you're bound, oh my gosh, I'm getting into your
You're
voice.
drifting so hard.
It's so hard into the southern accent. Hold on.
May I ask you a question? Hey, drift in.
Yeah. I gotta ask you a question. If you're a detective, oh my gosh, if you're a detective, I'm not gonna skip it at the moment.
Benoit Blanc.
Wow, I know.
Just imagine everything
confounds my
Tobias
soul.
says.
I was-
With that.
It's
Simply
coming
must
back
know.
to me, babe. Ooh, sorry. If the question I'm gonna ask him in the character, Tobias is gonna ask him this question: if you're bound by this, how can you be a detective? How do you know things?
Well, Sufi, the head of the Ray Agency, keeps me rather informed, but also, this is a tavern by the docks. I'm a ghost. I can be as invisible as I need to be, and when people drink, they talk. So you'd probably be surprised by how easy it is to gather information just from this one building, but I also have a network at my disposal. The Ray Agency is full of very talented individuals doing a lot of work for us. Um, Now, I'll be honest, I usually don't give out information for free, but y'all have piqued my interest of sorts. Mostly because you've also piqued the Baron's interest, I've heard.
Seems that we can't travel anywhere without drawing a little bit of attention to ourselves.
So what is this information that you're going to give us, eh?
Well, I'm already answering your questions, and I'm free to answer any other questions you have. I guess it's not clear to me what your goal here is in the Bay. Or in Darkon, because you don't look like you're from here. You look like you're fresh off the boat.
Oh, and you think we should tell him?
Probably.
As the half dead one here, I thought maybe I could be a good mediator in between, but I want to know your opinion.
I think that in this, so we know his father, not like personally, but
yes.
know of him. Probably.
I would say like there is a Van Richten in the legends of Barovia and like the story of overthrowing Shroud, which the founders of your organization are familiar with. So there's for those who are proficient in history, you've probably at least like heard the name tied to legends back then. But otherwise, you might not have even heard of his father.
Okay.
So you're pretty far removed.
Well, Mr. Van Richten, you do seem like...
Oh, please, Mr. Van Richten's my father. Please call me Erasmus.
Erasmus? You seem...
Or Raz for short.
Erasmus? I think that you seem like the most knowledgeable person about the more deadly goings-on in this city. As a detective, of course, you have knowledge of serial killers and those who are making moves in the city, but we also have a curiosity about the encroaching mist, the collapse of this realm, how the mist swallows the earth, how people rise from the dead, and then he pauses for a sec, or they pause for a second, think about the forget-me-nots. How people seem to disappear without a second thought at all.
Well, there's a lot of big questions in there, sir. Do y'all, I guess, what are your names? We don't have to go through it, but he's just going to kind of get like an introduction from y'all.
Olin.
My name is Tobias.
And Sully.
And you know me, I'm employee.
I'm in the
Buster.
other room.
We have other friend. She's out front.
Here's a picture of our other friend. Hold up the self-portrait. Have you seen anyone that looks like her? That perhaps is an easier question to start with.
I was going to forget. I'm glad you brought up picture. I was already in completely different place.
I can't say that I've necessarily seen someone who looks like her. There's a lot of people who come through. I might be able to put out a couple of feelers for you, maybe. If is that a sister or something she's missing?
Yes, many.
Yeah.
But how about this? And Olin takes it and takes like some kind of like writing utensil, like some like charcoal out of his bag or something, and scribbles over the neck part of the self-portrait and draws like the robe and covers up the hair.
Yeah, still not ringing a bell, friend. I'm sorry.
Okay, that makes sense. Just thought I would check.
as far as the Shroud, I mean, there's all kinds of people who've been trying to figure that out and why the dead walk. It seems all tied back to the Hour of Ascension, but it feels like only Zaylan knows what the deal is with all that, and well, he seems to be missing, unless you ask the Order, I guess. But
The order?
yeah, the Eternal Order they're out of the Mistlands. Rumor is that they are claiming they have a Zaylan, or at least his spirit, over at Neverchar Springs in the Mistlands.
Can we get a spelling on that one?
Mm-hmm. I don't know how much the Eternal Order is a bit of an esoteric organization. I'm not sure how much weight I would put to those rumors, but and it doesn't seem to have stopped the Shroud none. So
Slightly above the table question. In our tasks as the Mistwardens, have we ever been explicitly told, hey, don't tell people that you're extra planar? Everyone lives their own little lives in their own little planes. Don't let them know that they're one of many
Is it Star Trek rules?
cosmos. Yeah, like do we have to pretend like we're part of the thing, or can we just, for some people that are above board, we can be like, yeah, we're not from even this plane.
you definitely have the agency to kind of make that decision for yourself. I'll say in most planes, it leads to more confusion and having to answer a bunch of questions more than like ease of purpose. But in the Martira Bay, you know that there seems to be, across the Sea of Sorrows, people who come from other realms. So perhaps if there's any city in which that was not like as strange, it might be Martira Bay.
Okay. So then I would say, to answer the previous question, yes. We are not from Darkon. And I believe if you are a detective worth your salt, you would find that out very quickly, but I will save you time. We are not from Darkon, we are from out of this plane from various other locations. Effectively, why we are here is to figure out why Darkon is slowly collapsing, slowly eliminating, and the potential loss of, let's say, king, let's say, figurehead of, I believe his name has been Erasmus, or the King's Tear, this thing. With Hour of Ascension, I believe this is when Mist began breaking down Land of Darkon. If, as far as I know, there is no power to take control, Darkon is gone. Bye-bye. Finite. I believe we are here to figure out why, what happened, if we can save, what we must do. This is all very interesting, with the mist and the ghosts and the dead. In the way that you say this, you might. Are you from Darkon originally?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay, interesting. So was there a time where you were alive where oh, not Erasmus. Erasmus is his name. Oh gosh. Where Aslan Rex was alive.
Yeah, when I was a kid, he was the one in charge.
Was there mist during this time, as widespread as it is now?
Not like it is now. The land was all one. The Shroud did not make its way inland until after the hour of ascension.
So, purely using religious imagery of ascension, if he has somehow become god-like, if Tyr is literally him looking down from sky, or if it is Tyr as in tear. It always confuses me when they say no tear. Is it no tear like it's not going to make you cry, or no tear is it not going to rip, not tearing? Still, it could be King's tear that could literally be whole in sky or in Darkon, where Aslan ripped out of realm to break down like balloon. Think of realm as balloon. While no hole, it is full of air and life and mist. As soon as he pops out, there is all the air falls out and mist collapse. I think is maybe the breakdown on this.
I mean, that seems as good a hypothesis as any I've heard. The king's tear does seem to originate from Castle of Ernest in Lichgate, and they say you can even see the castle now, broken, floating in the air, looking like it's mid-explosion, with a string of golden light going all the way up into the sky.
There are so many curious things about this land that you'd think people would talk about.
Well, most people are just trying to survive. We've got a lot of refugees in with the Shroud coming in. A lot of people have died dealing with their grief, not to mention serial killers around every corner. People have a lot to worry about these days.
Martira Bay is well encompassed by the mists. What services? We've heard of those who will take you through the Shroud. Is there an agency? Are they simply ones who show up, do their job, and disappear?
Yeah, the Shrouders aren't really organized. They're kind of in bands. Sometimes you can... we get a Vistani come through that do the work. There's I can put you in touch with somebody if you're looking for a guide.
Someone trustworthy, if it is possible.
I just know sooner than later we'll need to move.
He smirks and says, well, I'm not sure if I would describe him as trustworthy, but he's talented and smart and has made as many trips into the Shroud as I know. A fellow named Lucky. He kind of like he like looks around and then points towards like in the corner. There's like a little table with like a notepad and pen. He says, I'll give you an address if you want to write it down. And he kind of like raises his little ghost hands and says, it takes a lot of effort to hold a pen, so.
I got it.
Yeah, and he gives you like an address that seems to be nearby. And hey, I mean, the two of you might get along, Buster. I mean, he's, well, no offense, but
You will not offend.
he's more cat-like than bunny-like, but you're both kind of animals. I don't know if that's...
He is cat have 9 lives. He's lucky he's lived this long. Clever. I like this name.
Lucky Trails is what he goes by.
I was actually chased for my feet once. You know, this whole lucky rabbit's foot thing. My clan's grandfather, this is progenitor of this rumor, dark, nasty rumor for rabbit feet being lucky thing. He merely got into argument with Hag Raven. It's a long story, but rabbit feet not lucky, just feet.
Interesting. You see him looking thoughtful.
Common misconception.
I'm so hung up on tiny little ghost hands.
Tiny.
You said little ghost hands, and
His
in
little
my
ghost
head,
hands.
they're just like these little bitty hands.
They're normal size ghost hands. I don't know why I said little. That's fair.
I
They're
mean,
normal
maybe he
size
can
ghost
like shrink them so they look like the little baby hand things.
hands. Yeah.
No, cursed.
Oh no!
You're welcome.
Baby ghost hands. But yeah, he says, I mean, there's a lot of different directions you could go if your goal is to try to figure out the Shroud. I'm not sure there's anything to do for Darkon. It honestly seems like the Shroud is moving in quicker and quicker every day. I would say we probably don't have more than a couple of months before it covers everything outside the major cities. For some reason, people being grouped together seem to keep it at bay in some ways, but
So,
Cool.
does the shroud affect ghosts?
he kind of like looks and says, that's a good question. I've never actually been, I'm stuck in the building. I don't know a lot of other ghosts. We did have one that worked here for a little bit, just recently left, but I don't know that we have many ghosts that we've talked to about going through the Shroud. But I have heard tales of people seeing the ghost parade, as you dubbed it, popping out of the mist to the south. So I assume they can walk through the mist just fine. Zombies don't really have much interest in
Yeah.
ghosts, I suppose.
They're single-minded for sure.
Oh, go ahead.
I do have to ask if if you have more to say, don't let me step on your toes, figuratively, of course. There are some serial killers in the city. There are many serial killers here in this city. We've acquainted ourselves with one and have heard of a handful of others. And as a detective, I presume that you have some information on them beyond their general demeanors. We've heard of the Midnight Slasher, the Weeping Woman, the Silver Fang, and something called the Vanisher. And while we know at least a little bit about the first three, the Vanisher seems to hardly even exist.
Yeah, the Vanisher is one of those interesting ones. I mean, many of the others are on our agency's radar. We're starting to put some patterns together. We actually had an encounter with the Weeping Woman 2 nights ago, and hopefully we did not manage to trap her in our trap that we set up, but next time I think we'll get her. The Vanisher, though, I mean, the Vanisher exists. Let me be clear about that. Though we are not sure how they operate. The only reason we even know they exist is mostly through stories, but also census reports. More people missing than add up. Nobody's reporting these people, or even seems to notice they've been gone, but we can find paper trails. That seems to be the only thing we can really find. Or people have a house filled with pictures of strangers.
Can I get a read on if he is telling, like, the whole truth about this?
Give me an insight.
I don't necessarily think he's lying, but 22.
You see that he's very uncomfortable with the topic of the Vanisher. You don't think he's necessarily lying. He does seem to be like holding back information, but it seems more out of like an unease about the topic rather than like an unease with giving you information about the topic.
if it brings you any camaraderie with us, we believe. I think that we as a group do believe that we have had someone vanished, right? Like together we've come to that conclusion. We believe that we've had someone vanished as well when we first entered Darkon. So perhaps it's more of a personal effort for us.
Do you think that because of the flowers?
The flowers and call it spirit's intuition.
Well, if you're missing somebody, if the Vanisher's MO holds, you won't remember them. You won't be able to remember them. You won't recall really any memories of them, period. For all intents and purposes, for your life story and your memories of it, that person no longer exists.
We have a ledger or something.
What do you mean?
Like
Ledger of what?
Like a mission report or something.
Mission report, provisional ledger, equipment records,
A good question.
something like that. Like, I mean, if paper trails are the way that people are figuring out that they've forgotten people, it stands to reason that we would maybe have something from like our mission documents, like our assignments, that is like addressed to all 6 people and not just all 5 people, right?
Is that
We don't-
also something we would have looked for after having the collective dream where there were 6 of us?
I was gonna say we probably had to sign like a "we won't sue if we lose limb or life on this mission" type thing.
An NDA.
I'm gonna. By the way, I'm gonna grab some paper and some ink, and I'm gonna start writing down all of our names and all of the things that I know about everyone, and I'm gonna have everyone sign it, fix it, and sign it. And I just while this conversation is happening, and I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna do this just as a forbearance on what could happen, because I have a feeling that if we find any link to that 6th person that was actually in our party, then I think that knowing us, we're probably gonna go after the Vanisher, and maybe we should have some type of trying to recall what's happening. So if you want to sign anything to yourself, here's your chance. I'm sorry to interrupt. Please go ahead.
So I will say you will have like a mission report. I don't think it would list the names on it. However, one of the things you can do with your inspiration is do a flashback. So if you want to flashback to your character, like having written something that might have included all the names of everybody on the team, any one of you can certainly do that. You all have your inspiration.
That's tempting. I feel like as far as in character goes, it's probably an Olin thing. Especially since they seem to maybe have some recollection that this person existed at all because of the dream thing. But I mean, I don't mind to use my inspiration on something like that.
I mean, I could use it. I could just burn it because I don't think I'm gonna need it.
You're not here.
Yeah, that's why I'm offering to give it to someone.
I do think it's an Olin thing. I agree with you.
I don't know. I just am trying to think what it would be.
Permission slips.
No,
All right, everyone.
I mean, you are one of the more veteran members of the group, and it could be anything like a simple journal, a mission log that Olin keeps, or
Could be a packing list of like we're bringing our own provisions and stuff. Who's carrying what?
Yeah.
Who's
That was-
responsible for what gear?
That was more my thing. Is it's like a list of equipment and important objects that we need to make sure that we're keeping track of and who has what.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to use your inspiration?
Yeah, I'll use my inspiration to go back in time and have had the party make a provisional equipment list on important things that they're carrying with them, their like funds that they had available, and I think that there would also be probably some kind of, I'm trying to think, because there's a part of me as Olin that wants there to be some sort of like personal identifier, because Olin, having been quite literally through the ringer spiritually and placed into a body that is not really their own, I think that the like individuality of each person is important. So maybe it's like provisions, equipment, and like some sort of personal item that each person has brought with them. And that doesn't, like, we can, you guys can all come up with your own thing for that, and we can put that together at some point. It doesn't have to be like a key story point right now, but I think that would be something included in this list at Olin's behest.
I'll even say, like, a documentation of those items as that goes. There is I'll say a habit in some cultures, specifically on Eberron, where a couple of characters originate, where changelings are a rather common thing. So having like a personal trinket that like no changeling could just like imitate, that you'd be able to like have to be like, no, I'm the real me kind of thing, might be something the group would keep track of. So you kind of like have this moment of like you remembering this. You go to those documents, pulling them out, and you start going through, and there is 6 names on this list. The 5 of you, as well as a 6th member of the group. Pepper.
Buck.
This might be moot, but I'm gonna think really. Have you shared this information with everybody?
I think not yet. I think maybe you could definitely see that Olin is looking at this list and is taken aback. But also I'm trying to piece together, like, now I've had this memory and I've remembered this thing from this dream, and it makes sense because the naming scheme, and it's like all these things are like, it's like all the neurons are firing at once. So it's sort of, there's this like overload of just staring at the paper, staring at the journal, trying to put the pieces together. And I think that Olin, when Olin is like over the shock of it, they look up and say, "Thank you for your time. I have to go speak to someone." And walks out the door.
Oh, wow.
Well, being dead does not do anything for your manners.
We are teaching him social graces and like proper amount of hellos, goodbyes. He's getting it. Don't worry.
Oh, jeez.
'Cause we would just see that as like, oh, he's really interested in that paper. Oh, he's gone.
I will say, all that aside, if y'all are planning on traveling through the Shroud, if you're headed to Rex Crown, I might be careful. If you're heading to Nevichar Springs for the Eternal Order and all that jazz, you'll have to go through Rex Crown, but rumors are from Illaluk, I mean, their whole government collapsed not too long ago. um, plague, riots, all kinds of stuff. And
What
well,
happened?
you know the story. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer.
Tell
The
me about it.
plague hits, people get upset and angry. Um, the nobles are kind of trying to get in control back there. They like to throw their little balls and pretend that, everything's fine, but the city's not doing well, last I checked. The Kargot's been trying to move in there, trying to take advantage of the disorder. I think that's the barons got their eyes set there next.
Is there?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, is there a reason why we need to track down all of the serial killers? Is that just like a short-term goal for us where we're gonna track them down and stop them all? Or is this part of the story?
I would say if you want to go after the serial killers, that's a personal choice y'all can make. The way Erasmus tells it, he thinks the Ray Agency has a serial killer problem, like, on the going, other than, like, the Vanisher, which
Okay.
seems to be an issue that he feels is... I think you get the sense that he feels the issue of the Vanisher is beyond him and his agency. Yeah. He says, I think he will even kind of like his mind on it. He's like, and the Vanisher... Oh, the Vanisher seems more like a force of nature than a serial killer. I'm not sure. If you lost somebody that way, I wouldn't think about it too hard. I would focus on your mission if you think you can succeed.
It is very interesting. We know very little about this Vanisher other than what the spider has said. I believe all he has said is he has heard the voice, the singing of this Vanisher. But,
The spider, the serial killer?
Yes, we met him on our first day here, bullied him relentlessly, effectively took a stash house of his and have been living there since. He's misunderstood. He's a nice guy once you get down past the layers of very many spiders.
And also after you get past the murders and things like that.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna
a
say,
big character flaw.
he has
But you
like
know,
7 confirmed kills in the city.
well, he is a few less now that he has not murdered us.
How many
Yeah.
bodies? Sorry, this is just Sam asking. How many bodies did we see in the apartment?
There's like 2 bodies in the apartment.
Okay, I wasn't sure if there was like a whole bunch of just cocoons and shit. Like, oh, 7 confirmed. Mm-hmm.
I was wondering why the spider had gone kind of quiet recently. I guess y'all would be to thank for that.
Scared them straight. Oh boy.
Um,
Is it possible that one of the other serial killers might know something?
about the Vanisher.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think these serial killers really know much beyond their next kill, to be honest with you. They seem pretty single-minded even when we catch them. And the Vanisher doesn't seem the type to, like, work with others. But you mentioned singing, which is interesting because there have been rumors of some people hearing like a strange singing sound. Nothing really associated with it other than perhaps a fear of dread with some of these people, but nobody that we've been able to find anyway murdered or even, face an injury or anything around the same time as these. Are just a strange occurrence, which there are plenty of in the Bay.
Does anyone know where that singing is coming from?
I Maybe a persuasion check, Tobias.
Gladly.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my inspiration to make it give myself advantage.
Okay.
Ooh,
27.
That's pretty good.
Wow. You see him like he has like a moment of reluctance, and he kind of glances at you, seeming to weigh each of you, and says, "You seem the type to be able to take care of yourself and not really listen to folks when they tell you it's dangerous, but the singing seems to occur more often in the cracks, which is an old abandoned neighborhood, and is mostly squatters and homeless. If anybody's still living there, mostly be refugees. It's near the undercrypt, and kind of the undercrypt spooks a lot of people, so nobody really likes living close to it. Probably not far from your little apartment, by the sounds of it.
These. Go on.
It is interesting to me that nobody else hears the sound. Was there anything special about these people that made them hear it?
No, seemed pretty random, as far as we could tell. Like I said, it hasn't been really a high priority for the agency to investigate.
You mentioned that there were details that were previously written down, like census things. To realize that people have had memories stolen, people taken. Is it possible that these people who have reported singing have then gone missing, or have been around when the vanisher has struck, when somebody has been attacked? If Spider has heard it and he's not been vanished yet, he might be vanished soon. It might be like a time delay, or he was around the vanisher or while vanisher was attacking, but he just doesn't remember.
The way the Vanisher seems to work, I wouldn't be able to remember any of their... I guess we do have them handwritten reports, which just means we wouldn't remember the people that put them in. As far as I know, the people that have heard the singing are still around. We had no really reason to associate the singing with the Vanisher. It's possible that people disappeared around these people. It's hard to tell. There's also times where it seems the Vanisher people have reported hearing this singing outside of the city. So if it is associated with the Vanisher, he doesn't always stay in Martira Bay.
Okay. Interesting.
Do you know how far the tunnels go out of town?
You're talking about through the undercrypt?
Yeah.
Well, not far outside of the bay, as far as my understanding goes. And they've sealed up most of the exits other than the main one, which the Baron keeps on guard.
So, the way that the mist is going, this thing keeps going out of town most likely, and if it's not underground, then it's probably going through the mist. Is there still paths towards all these areas? It's like to all the other cities, or what?
Yeah, if you're willing to risk the mist, at which, like I said, there are shrouders who do that. There's ways to get across. I imagine the Vanisher must have their own way to deal with the undead. Or avoid them.
Are we thinking about walking through the mist?
At some point, I think we gotta.
Eventually.
We just gotta find
We'll have to.
Yeah, we just gotta find a local Shrouder to maybe help us, or we're just gonna have to figure it out because we kind of are those.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember this being being like a training course or class back to the train.
No, you're generally taught, like, for most, generally speaking, you don't want to walk through the mist unless
Yeah.
you absolutely have to. Though the shroud seems to be a little different than, like, the main mist that surrounds the mist lands generally. But he says, yeah, I would definitely reach out to Lucky if you plan on going through the shroud, just to be safe. I mean, you can obviously try and handle it yourself, and maybe you'd be fine, but the shroud's not for the faint of heart. While you're here, I don't figure y'all would have heard anything about what the Baron's been up to in the Undercrypt, would you?
Unfortunately, no, but I bet that we're gonna go down and kill two birds with one stone.
Well, the only reason I ask is my agency, and perhaps I'm giving you information you don't need or want, but the Baron's apparently sent a couple of squads down to the Undercrypt looking for something, but they have not returned. So,
Have they vanished?
well, yeah, but not in the way of the Vanisher, where people wouldn't even remember they went down there in the first place. But the Undercrypt's filled with undead. Everybody that was down there came back once the hour of ascension occurred, if you will, and it's been locked up ever since. So it's dangerous down there on the best of days.
Well, let's go down there. Let's find what it is, and we can either send the Baron a message, or we can provide some leverage and go meet him. Or her. Him or her. I don't know.
The current Baron is a woman. The former Baron's sister.
Wait.
Sounds like a plan to me. We can kind of
The-
talk about what we want to do with the Baron from there.
The brother of Baron was vampire, which your father killed. Does that mean that current Baron is also vampire or also somehow magical? Because Baron did some sort of smiting to you to keep you here. We have to worry about the magic.
You're a quick one, Buster. Yes, the current Baron. It's strange. The car got started as vampire hunters, but the Baron is herself a vampire.
I thought of this when you brought it up initially, that the brother was Baron, and Baron was also upset and magically inclined to revenge, but then I got distracted.
Yeah, a word of advice if you do end up, crossing words with the Baron, I would try not to find myself on the opposite end of her sword. From personal experience, it's unpleasant.
Because of the slit throat thing, yes. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes. Makes sense.
I can't believe the Baron came to his house personally to slit his throat. What an honor.
Delivery.
Well, if you have no more questions for me,
I think I'm good. I would just like to know what our other two members have been up to.
yeah, we can pivot out to that as you kind of like wind down with small talk. But if there's any other questions y'all have for,
Raz, I was actually going to offer you one little thing. You have it seems that you have a very good network around here, and I'd like to offer the small one that I've set up in the city. If you have any questions of your own for us, maybe we could trade something of value to each of us.
All right. Well, I could be into that. What kind of? I mean, does the information I have given you feel like value enough, or are you asking for another token?
I think this is value enough for now, but we can always keep future negotiations open.
Yeah, if you find a way for us to get more information, you'll be a friend of the agency for sure.
Of course, and I'm sure after a couple works of good faith, there'll be some compensation coming our way. I'm sure that we could work something out there after a few, because you've been so helpful just right now.
Of course. Um, sorry, I was reading the chat there.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
It says, let's exchange information, and also, I work for the agency. You can always find me here. We also have an office down the way on the docks. You'll see the big sign. So if you ever need any assistance, feel free to drop my name, and they'll usually help out.
Thank you, Raz. Look forward to working with you.
Are either of the three of you that are left going to ask about the prophecy?
I don't remember it.
You for sure
Me
don't
neither.
have to. The 8 omens will come to pass and all will be consumed by the shroud.
Both me, Steven the player, and
I was
Buster the
rereading
rabbit.
my notes for entirely different
remember.
reasons and
Hey.
saw that.
Sounds like there's already been one omen. Just saying.
Wait, what omen has that been?
The tear. Or tear.
The ascension.
Okay.
Also, on the shampoo, it's no tears, not no tears. It means your hair doesn't tear. It's
I know.
You still cry if that shit gets in your eyes. Okay.
I was making a joke as rabbit.
I know, but like,
Rabbit joke.
as someone for a
Rabbit
long
joke.
time that thought it was no tears, I just thought I should clear that up.
I'm very aware that it will make you cry. It hurts. It's soap.
You bet yes, just to kind of a little bit of prophecy that you heard there.
Yeah.
Oh.
And with them
Yep.
rides its destruction. Which one of us is the destructor? Pepper.
I don't know. Uh-oh.
Oopsie.
So, which was something that was spoken by Garlic,
The vampire
as-
sister.
as she died. So we are the rest of y'all. We're gonna cut as y'all are finishing up your conversation with Erasmus. We see the outside of the bar. There's several people drinking. A myriad group of people where like each table kind of like looks like they're from a completely different country and culture. At the bar, we see Rosemary, a drink in front of her, knitting. What kind of drink does Rosemary have in front of her?
A Midwest Bloody Mary. It's,
Nice.
it's like a regular Bloody Mary, but you also add beer, and then you have a little sidecar of beer to go with it to keep adding as you drink it down.
I knew it would be a
Just
Bloody
white milk.
Mary.
Nice.
I thought it might be a virgin Bloody Mary.
So tempting.
But yeah, you come out to see Olin. You step out to see Rosemary at the bar. I'm gonna guess. Please correct me if I'm wrong. With like knitting in hand.
Crochet in hand.
Crocheting.
But yes. It's different.
It is different.
I can't knit.
But yeah, Olin, what would you like to do?
Owen walks very purposefully up to the bar, right to where Rosemary is,
Oh, hey, do you
Sit-
have money?
sits down, slams the journal down in front of her, goes, "No."
Oh no.
Rosemary,
I'm just gonna keep nursing this.
look at this. And they point at the last entry in that journal. Do you remember signing this back before we left?
Yeah, I signed Rosemary right there. Crochet tools, very important.
Remember how when we entered, there were the forget-me-nots, and
Oh yeah,
we have
she'll pull it out.
reason to believe that one of us vanished,
Mm-hmm.
and someone on this list, who is not with us currently, wrote their name was Pepper,
Huh.
and I can't really read their handwriting, but maybe you can.
Oh, I'll give it a go. You know, I've got chicken scratch myself. I look at it really hard, John.
Yeah, so you definitely don't remember anybody else that would have written this. Looking at the writing, give me an insight check.
Oh, sure. You betcha.
You betcha.
My specialty. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'll say, like Rosemary, you say you've got chicken scratch. You're used to reading writing that is like hard to read. This definitely seems like hard to read writing, but you can read it pretty easily. Somebody named Pepper. They were bringing like some sort of like magic materials. A spell book seemed to be like part of their kit that they were claiming they were bringing, as well as like some rations and normal Mistwarden things. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it's you can make it out.
Oh, yeah. So she was bringing a spell book and rations, and oh, I don't want to know what those nude eyes were for.
How many sisters did you say you had?
Was I ever given a number?
Yeah,
I don't know that you know how many you have.
Oh gosh, lots. You know, Mother never really told me how many, and it felt a little rude to not, just know, so I didn't want to ask.
Could you ask your mother something for me?
Oh, sure.
Do you have a sister named Pepper?
I don't have, as far as Rosemary knows, she does not have a sister named Pepper. Okay.
No,
Amy.
someone.
Don't have one, but I'll ask her. And, grab the earring. Ring, ring. Hi, Mother. Yeah, it's a funny joke. Anyway, because it's an earring. Anyway, it's Rosemary. Do I have a sister named Pepper? She might have gone missing. Love ya.
It takes a moment for the response to get back to you. This voice, I love it, but I'm also like haven't done it well. Pepper? No, we never named any of your sisters Pepper. Though I don't know why. It's a pretty go-to spice, so perhaps we should have. But
Okay. Well, Olin, she says no, but she really thinks it was an oversight. Pretty go-to spice, so in her exact words.
That's what I thought too. It seems like.
Oh yeah, everyone uses pepper. You know,
even I can appreciate pepper, and I don't even taste anything anymore.
maybe it's not even a sister, and someone else went missing, and this pepper just didn't come on the trip with us.
Olin takes their hands, looks at Rosemary,
Oh, what you doing there?
Do I have like a cloak or something?
Sure, yeah.
You've been for sure knitted a shawl.
Well, like I was thinking more like a canvas or like a leather,
Oh.
like more like a robe type cloak, like a covering thing. I would like to take it and wrap it around Rosemary and try and fashion it like
Not
I
even
saw
asking.
in the dream. Social graces gone. Nothing.
Oh yeah. No, she just goes with it.
Just like a couple of people like glancing at you out of the corner of their eyes. Yeah, you do this. Figure definitely like you can definitely make Rosemary seem like that sixth person you saw in the dream.
I feel like I'm this close to something.
I don't think I work with robes.
No, but you look lovely, but I think that it's not your look.
Hmm. Yeah.
But someone like you. And it beside garlic and pepper, maybe. I guess none of the party has really met any of your other sisters.
Technically, in session 0, we had established you met one as Rosemary was killing her because she didn't want to go home.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh wait,
Which
fuck! Did we
sister
ever
was that?
point out the fact that Garlic was a vampire?
I mean, in
And
game, we
vampires
talked about it.
hate garlic?
Yes.
Oh, buddy.
Oh,
I don't remember if we made that joke.
Oh, sweetie.
I don't remember if we made that joke. That's really funny.
It was more like a groaning as I mentioned that her name was Pepper or Garlic. I mean, but yes.
After the
was-
fact, that's fucking hilarious.
Oh no. Okay. Well,
yeah. You've when you met Sully, you were fighting her sister Oleander. And you also met, I feel like we talked about, but it's not on our list of team backstory stuff, like a sister Basil. No, Basil's
No,
here
we're looking for Basil.
I feel like there's like another sister. You've definitely seen at least like 2 other sisters of Rosemary's before
Yeah.
this.
I guess
Arthur
there's
Sage.
Rosemary time. I guess there's just a part of me that thinks that one of your sisters would have worn something like this.
Oh. Well, definitely not Garlic. She was, dramatic.
I hope we find your sister here,
Me too.
and I hope that we can help her.
Oh, yeah, we gotta get her back home for the family reunion.
It must be scary being all alone out there. At least we all have each other, you know. But I can't imagine being lost out in the Shroud all on your own.
Oh, well, I'm sure she's in town and not in the Shroud.
Oh, probably. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have anything
No,
about any other sisters
can
named
you-
Pepper, I guess maybe. Did you write this in there as a joke?
do I remember writing this as a joke? Can I gaslight myself into thinking I wrote this as a joke? Oh gosh, that is my handwriting.
I don't think you did, but it would be funny.
I think it's around this time.
Maybe Buster did it. But they all walk down. Buster,
Mhm.
did you write Pepper in the ledger as a joke?
Why would I joke about pepper in the ledger? Pepper is very important, a very serious ingredient to always bring with you. What are you kidding? This is day one stuff.
No, Buster would.
And then
go
you
for
see
that
in
pepper.
Buster's list, Buster's spice pouch, and then in like broken down like salt, pepper, all the other ones I carry.
Breaking there.
Paprika.
I was
Basil.
also gonna say paprika.
Cumin. I like cumin.
Cayenne.
Yes, I'm a chili guy. What can I say? Yeah, but it very clearly is just pepper right there.
Mm.
But we can't remember.
And apparently the Vanisher works across planes.
That's fucking sick.
It's so fucking cool. Sorry, I know we've hit a wall now, but I'm so happy about that.
I have ideas.
I have been asking the bartender, and I asked them if I could put up a missing poster for Basil.
Hmm.
And asking the bartender if they've seen her. Very slowly drinking my drink, waiting for the others to come out so I can ask one of them to pay for it.
Yeah, the bartender's like kind of looks at the picture, looks at you, grunts, never seen it. But like doesn't say anything. Like it's like fine with you putting up a poster if you want. Does your missing poster like have any kind of contact info or anything on it?
Little
It
rip
says
pull
where we're
tabs at the bottom.
staying. It
Oh
says
my
where we're
God.
staying.
Yes, it does. It has our address on it. It has to.
Please, no.
Scenic the spider's house.
Literally, Spider's old apartment.
Spider's old apartment in parentheses web free though.
Oh no.
Next to the cracks.
I work so hard. I work so hard for us to be safe.
You should have seen this
And-
coming. You
and this-
should have seen this. I said
What
Rosemary is
Rosemary
making
does.
missing posters.
Oh.
No one stepped in and said, "Don't put our address on it." So she put the address.
I just
That's
didn't think it
important
had to be said. It's fine.
Love it.
We get a bunch of other serial killers just coming to our home. Oh.
Her very concerned sister is staying at.
The
man.
only other posters hanging up are like an open mic night that has all the tear sheets still there.
Oh gosh, nobody's doing this.
You should take one.
Oh, but-
It is a
Ooh, I
weird
can do
crowd.
crochet. I can do crochet lessons, and I'll take one.
As y'all are,
We've gone off the rails.
yeah, as y'all are hanging out,
Oh,
you're kind of like hanging out near the bar. You're approached by
Serial killer.
a young woman, like dark of hair and skin, her hair kind of pulled up, and she approaches you and says, just kind of like staring at each of you until you like notice her, basically. And she's wearing just like simple leathers. She's armed with like a crossbow and a short sword. And she says, "You, you're Buster," pointing to the bunny.
Yes.
All 5 of you need to come with me.
And who are you?
I'm Agent Thorn.
That's a really cool name.
And should we know who
Really
you are?
fake name.
She kind of lowers her voice a little bit, and she says, "I work for the Kargot. You're under investigation for murder."
That's cute. That's really cute.
You invest.
Ooh.
Do you investigate every murder here? It seems like there's a lot of them.
No, fortunately for you, the Baron has taken a special interest in your case. You're to come to the Black Tower immediately.
Where's the
Who
Black
did
Tower?
we murder?
Looking
I don't
back,
remember.
did we murder someone recently?
I don't remember anyone. Hold on.
Actually,
We
we
haven't-
specifically didn't murder a couple people.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did
Actually,
murder
Since we've been
Garlic.
here, we've made a point not to murder anyone since we've been here in Martira Bay.
No, we didn't even murder anyone back in.
You have to
That
think about whether you murdered somebody or not. It seems like you have to do a lot of.
Oh, we fight a lot,
Processing there.
especially my sisters. Have you seen my sister? Hold up, the missing.
We were attacked by undead,
And
and
a
the
serial
man
killer.
and the man died in a fire in the house. But no murders.
Oh, there was also a beholder. That was interesting.
Oh yeah.
Agent Thorne, have you ever killed anybody in your line of work?
Yes.
And would you call
Oh,
that
so-
murder?
You murder.
Self-defense.
Ah.
So
You
now
murdered.
we
Yeah.
draw lines.
Mm.
Self-defense is very
So
different.
is it self-defense because you saw a weapon or thought you saw a weapon, or is it actual self-defense?
Do you have stand your ground laws here in Martira Bay?
Oh no.
Martira Bay is castle doctrine.
Weird, it doesn't even have a castle anymore.
Are you saying that you murdered the Vachon family out of self-defense?
What?
Oh, we didn't murder them. It was the zombies.
No,
Wait,
no,
no.
we didn't murder anyone.
They're
No, Lady Vachon and oh my god, what was his name?
Armand.
She kind of like
Armand.
reaches for a scroll, pulls
They
it
were
open. She
fine when we left a week ago.
closes the scroll. You are the last people to be seen with them. Both were found murdered in their townhome in the city. Armand and Riva Vachon. These are the murders for which you have been accused.
Owen books
Now
it.
what-
Owen's gone.
He books it. He runs.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
That's so suspicious. You can't just take off
Right.
running.
Oh, hold on 1 second, sorry. Buster, Tobias, Sully, do you have money for the tab?
Money for the tab, yes.
yes, I will pay your drink.
Oh, thank goodness, I've been nursing it because I didn't want him to ask me to close out.
That seems very suspicious that he just ran. He is very good friend with Anton.
Armand.
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 I'm terrible with names,
Listen,
agent.
He's gonna go straight to the house. If you want us to come with you, you better come with us real fast because we're gonna
Pretty
go
sure
tip.
Bjorn.
He is in disbelief because we did not murder him, and they are going to be very upset now that friend is now dead. But we can prove. We have very many methods to prove that they are in fact not murderers by our hand.
Does
Well,
everyone have an alibi?
I was told that murderers like to return to the scene of the crime. Yes, let's go back to
On their own, in
Not with
guilty
that
conscience, but you were
cap.
physically. Is this your first day on job? Can I do an insight check to see how green, how young this
Can I
Agent
also?
Thorne is?
Yeah, give me insight checks.
Because she's throwing so many, like, you've thought about all the murders that you've done type stuff. Also, I typed this earlier, but I never hit enter, apparently. It's just been sitting in my text box for a while. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta get this in there.
It's just been sitting there. I didn't
Sailor
want to delete
Amelia.
it. I didn't want to delete it.
Is anybody else doing insight checks?
I'll do one.
I'm not
Also,
there.
I don't entirely believe the Vachon family's dead. Or it's very recent and maybe she did it.
I'm not
Uh,
gonna do an insight check.
Okay. Buster, Rosemary, you both get the sense that she is relatively new to her position. And seems to be kind of like very eager to like seem like she knows what she's doing.
Oh, you
Uh,
cute little thing.
Tobias, you have a harder read of her. I think in like some way she reminds you of like an old mentor you had on like on the train when you first started. So it doesn't seem like too far off from what like some people in charge you've met.
Okay. All right. Li-
So you want to go to the home of the Vishons?
Yeah,
Mhm.
listen, if you want all of us together to come, then I suggest just to make your life easier, you just come real fast. You keep an eye on us. How's that sound?
That works for me. We have another agent at the house, so
No, well, yeah, he's probably run over right now, the way that Olin was going, so.
Yeah, Olin is probably there. Their legs are very, very long.
Oh, we're so intimidated by you. You're doing such a good job.
You're doing
Sully chuckles audibly.
You have us.
she kind of like glares at you, and she's like, "Let's just go. All right, you want to go to this house? Come on."
Trying
And
to-
she turns around,
Rosemary's
like marches
trying
off.
to be like supportive.
You cannot
Does
make
not
me
realize it comes
officer.
off patronizing.
I'm not going back to the clink. Yeah, kind of hamming it up.
The clink.
Oh, this is good. This will be good for her self-esteem.
Oh
You fucking pig. Is this working for you?
Well,
Is this what you need?
This is a little. It's a
no!
little
Oh
too
my
much.
gosh!
Alright, I'll take it down. I'll take it down.
Just half notch. No need to swear. And she'll hold out the swear jar.
I have the swear jar.
Oh, Olin has the swear jar. She looks for it. Oh no.
You make your way over to the part of the town where the Vishons were staying. You approach their townhome. I'll say it's kind of like it was like an afternoon appointment, so it's getting kind of like later in the afternoon as you arrive at the house. And there is a very tall, broad-shouldered, like armored figure, like wearing like heavy armor, a helmet pulled over their face, standing in front of the house. Olin, you would be, I imagine, the first to approach. And you kind of like see this armored figure just kind of standing in the doorway. They're like a couple of inches shorter than you. Well, actually, how tall are you? Because you're like
Big, 6'10".
Okay, yeah, they're like 6'5".
Okay.
So they, you still are several inches taller. They kind of like look at you as you approach, watching you warily. They have like a big, great sword on their back, and a hand like goes and just grips the hilt as you approach. You hear a voice. Who goes there?
My friend has been murdered. He lived in this home. His name was Armand. He was scared of the dark, and he was very interested in the goings-on in the city, especially those of the serial killers.
Yes, your friend's gone. And I'm certain, looking at the size of you, that you're one of the suspects. And the figure pulls the sword out and like points it at you and says, "You say that this man was your friend?"
He was. Perhaps one of my closest. And I can guarantee that I was one of his closest friends.
Make a persuasion check for me, and you can have advantage on this.
Okay, I'm very good at persuasion. It's my specialty.
Okay.
The
it
dice
was
knocked
on
the other
13.
dice over.
It
So-
It was
bumped
on
yeah.
13.
Oh,
was
actually, it
beautiful.
counted as 13
Oh,
on
it
the,
did?
on the
Oh,
roll,
good.
so 14.
A bump.
The figure seems to like lower their sword a little bit, not pointing it directly at you, but kind of like lowering it so it's pointing towards your feet, and says, Well, then I'm sorry for your loss.
When
But
did the murder occur? I can
Last
prove
night.
that I was here during the week beforehand, but we were creating a board, a web of connections of serial killers in the city. It stands to reason that perhaps one caught wind of what we were doing and didn't want their secrets known.
The figure says, would you be willing to come to the Black Tower to put in a statement?
Can I get an insight on that? On the intention?
Yeah.
I guess. A 9.
Yeah, I say, like, this figure's not very moving very much. You can't see their face. It's hard to get, like, a good read on them.
If it can be useful in finding the murderer, then I would be happy to.
You'll be pleased to know that the Baron has taken a special interest in the murder of your friend. They were an old friend of the Lady Vishon. So if it was a serial killer who got your friend, the Baron will bring them to justice soon. And your statement could help guide us to a quicker resolution to this issue.
You seem to know who I am, but may I ask your name, your allegiance?
Agent Thorn. I'm Agent Pike. I report directly to the Baron's second in command. I am an agent of the Kargot. And I am imbued with all of the power in which the Baron has given me to uphold justice within Martira Bay and all the realms of the Baron.
Sounds like a righteous calling. Is he still in there?
No, the bodies have been moved to the fortress.
Is that standard procedure?
And you know when he says the fortress, or they say the fortress, that they mean the Black Tower. They call it the Black Tower, but it's really like not even that tall, and is like just a very fortified, like literal fortress in the city.
It's all posturing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do ask, is it standard procedure? Well, and then Olin thinks back and says, well, I suppose with the cremations, then perhaps it is.
Well, usually bodies go to the ashery. Currently, they're being maintained under spells that's preventing them from rising from the dead, but we will have to burn the bodies soon enough.
Were the clocks still going inside?
Agent Pike kind of bends her head a little bit, like curious, and says, yes, I suppose. Why do you ask?
No particular reason, just a curious thing to have in a home, isn't it? A collection of clocks.
Yeah, well, nobles have all kinds of weird things in their homes.
You seem more level-headed than your partner.
You see them like almost their shoulders sag a little bit, like, "Oh, you met Agent Thorn?"
She seemed eager.
Yeah, well named, a thorn in my foot. And says they should be returning, or she should be returning here soon. If you don't mind to wait, we'll get you. Hopefully, we can round up your companions, get you to the fortress, and get this resolved sooner than later.
I hope so too. I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I'm more sorry for the loss of a friend. I hope that you can understand that.
I can. I've lost many friends in the line of duty. Oh, make me one more persuasion check.
Okie dokie.
Damn.
Natural 20.
Got him, dude.
Agent Pike hesitates a moment, like watching you. And I think we see, like, coming down the pathway, we can see the rest of the group, like, walking this way. And Agent Pike, like, leans in and says, "Look, I've lost a lot of friends. There's enough grief in this city as it is, with people dying every day. You didn't hear it from me, and you better not breathe a word of it to your friends, but your friend Armand is still alive, though being held in the fortress."
I don't breathe at all, so I'll have no problem breathing a word of it to my friends. Not breathing, sorry.
Wow. So we're being framed.
So the rest of you approach.
Really still hamming it up, probably.
And
is that your friend?
yes,
Oh, you really got us. Oh gosh. Oh no.
you see her face, like, it's dark, but like you can just see it, like, those who are close can see a little bit of like red flushing. And she says, "Agent Pike, I have managed to apprehend the rest of this creatures," as she kind of like eyes you, Olin, companions. And
They are a person, little Missy.
this
Boy, I've never seen
person's
a rabbit before.
Olin just waves.
So we can take
Oh.
them to the fortress for
Can I
questioning.
check one thing?
What did you want to check?
Oh, I don't even need to go in the house. I just need to open the door.
Why?
To check.
To check what?
For a thing. You can
Uh-huh.
watch me. You can smell too.
Smell. Agent Pike pipes up and just kind of like walks over and opens the door and says, "You have 3 seconds.
I walk up. Do I smell peppermint oil?
Make a perception check for me."
My specialty. God, peppermint oil is very pungent.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
You do not smell peppermint.
Okay. He didn't apply more peppermint oil. I thought I told him to. Okay, so we can't rule out the spider. There's no peppermint oil.
I mean, I'll say you kind of like sniff around. You don't smell a strong scent. I'll say you can kind of like go by the windows and smell that there's like
Okay.
been some. It smells like it's probably like a few days old, but like some lingering smells. I'll say with a 15.
Okay, so enough to probably deter spiders, then.
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind. I changed that
it-
around. Okay,
in my-
roll out the spider.
In my head, I thought you were like smelling for like big splashes of it, like he had like been
No,
fighting
like
with a
a
spider
little
or
bit,
something.
like to keep spiders out.
But yeah, I think you can kind of pick up a whiff of that a few days.
Yeah, and I'll, inform them. Couldn't have been the spider. There's peppermint oil.
The lore.
I just wanted to make sure that bastard didn't double cross us because we said not to kill this family.
And is there any scenes you want to play out before we cut to the Black Tower? As Pike and Thorn begin leading you that way.
Does anyone fill Rosemary in on what was discussed?
Oh,
Or
in
is
the
that
room.
later?
In the
room where
room
it
with
happened?
Erasmus.
Yeah, I would. I would let you know about the reports of the Vanisher, the things we heard about the Hour of Ascension. Yeah, all the things that
Okay,
are of importance.
wait, so he knew that we were being investigated before they showed up?
I actually do not know that I don't believe he mentioned that we were being investigated. I do not believe he's a standalone detective. I don't believe he works with the Gargot.
So, this is meta, this is Sam talking, but he did say that the Baron had taken interest in us
Mm-hmm.
before we
Oh.
found out about this.
Well,
There's a
Well,
couple
this might
things
be-
that aren't
this
adding
might
up
be
in
why,
Sam's
right?
brain.
what was that, Pelby?
I said this might be why the Baron has taken interest in us.
Yeah, potentially.
Because this still would have happened a little, within time.
It's just weird that he knew before us. Oh, and did you say that Basil was my sister? You made sure to tell him that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, probably.
You didn't. He just said, "Oh, sister," right? Sam, I wish I was in the room. God damn it!
But
If
you're
only
afraid
didn't
of
have a crippling
ghosts.
phobia of
I
ghosts.
know. God damn it! It's killing
Oh
me.
no!
I took so many notes, you guys. You don't understand.
I took notes.
You can't see it, but there's a page and a half of notes.
These notes have been redacted.
They are redacted.
I know he filled in sister. He didn't mention sister. He said sister after the fact. Interesting. But I don't have any scenes otherwise.
You were brought
That said,
to the fortress. There is like a large portcullis gate that is lifted to let you in. Several agents kind of like meet you in like the dark hallways of the fortress right at the beginning. And you are brought to a room that has like sunlight pouring in from like a skylight in the center. It's completely stone. There is Riva and Armand, each tied to a chair in this room. Both of them looking beleaguered, a little bloody, and a little worse for wear,
But not dead.
but not dead.
Fuck.
And standing in the room, there are a number of people in various gear, armor, no clear uniform, kind of standing around the room, maybe about 5 figures. And in the center of the room is a figure that turns to look at you as you enter. You see a woman wearing a high-collared button-up shirt, a dark, long coat that goes down like over a pair of dark slacks. Her skin is almost, it's almost like purplish in hue. It's like so pale. Her hair is stark white, and she looks at you with a pair of yellow eyes. You see her jacket is kind of has this decor of red, like roses, and she has tattoos along her arms and neck that matches the roses on her coat. She turns to you with a long, like katana-like blade over her shoulder.
She's a weeb.
She's hot.
She's a
She's so
weeb.
God damn it. She's hot.
And she smiles, a large smile as you enter, a pair of fangs clearly on display as she does so.
Just makes her hotter.
Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry.
Oh, this voice, I have not thought about this voice.
So I finally got you here in my lair.
Oh my god. Oh my god, if she
No.
sounds like mother.
Oh my god.
Listen.
Sorry, just give me one moment. A voice is important, and I want to do a voice. All right, I'm not gonna put too much on it. We're just gonna go. She smiles as you enter, and she says, "Fucking finally, bring him over." And she goes.
That's one for the swear jar.
She goes over and stands next to the lady was shown, and immediately like takes the sword off of her like shoulder and just kind of like sets it on the back of the lady's neck. And the lady was shown seems to be unconscious in this moment. She's like leaning forward. You can see her breathing, so you know she's not dead. But Armand, like his eyes go big. He's gagged, so he can't say. He's like making noises behind it, and he kind of looks over. And then looks at you like basically begging for help with his eyes. And the woman says, "I'm the Baron. A pleasure to meet you. So my first question, who are you working for?"
You wouldn't have heard of them.
Entertain me.
Do you think that we have just have
Mother.
fun here? We have a
The-
rabbit with us.
The Mistwardens Incorporated. It is I believe our CEO is named Perry.
We are based out of an extraplanar steam train.
You can see she like once Tobias, you started kind of like talking and trying to like delay her a little bit. Some of you, I think Olin, Buster, probably noticed that she like began to move the sword as if she was going to like strike
Yeah.
at the
Mhm.
lady was shown. And
Yeah,
then the rest of you,
she was. Yeah.
the rest of you start answering, and she says, "Mistwardens."
And mother.
And Mother. Let's not forget Mother. Perry, your boss, your CEO. She turns to like one of the other, like she turns to Agent Pike, who's like now standing inside the doorway, kind of guarding the door, and she says, "I've got to admit, that's not what I expected. A pleasant surprise. So, have you come to the city to try and kill me, or why are you here?"
Oh, gosh.
No.
Should we? I didn't think so. I didn't want to. I'm looking for my sister, and I'll pull out a missing poster.
We mostly came to city because the Vishon's house caught on fire due to all of the zombies, and the mist was literally crashing around us. And rather than roughing it in the forest in the mist, we lived in city in crowded apartment.
Look, you're giving me a lot of information, but you're standing here with Basil, right?
Oh, no, Rosemary. Basil's the
This-
missing one. And I hold up
this-
the poster.
This is
That says
Rosemary.
missing. Basil.
we are
Concerned
looking
sister
for
located at.
Basil, yes. Yes,
Yeah,
we're at
mother
the
said to
apartment.
get Basil and send her back home for the family reunion.
We're really here to set Doc on right. You see, all this mist around us shouldn't be around this close to all the cities. If you want to know why we're really here, it's to stop that.
Well, Basil too.
You are inconsequential.
I'm sure you're very important as a baron, very attractive baron.
With that, she like snatches the missing poster from you. She kind of glances at Tobias, and her like face turns tight, and she like goes up to like lean, like put a foot up on the chair that Lady Vishon is as she like looks at the missing poster, and she just casually like shoves the katana into Lady Vishon's heart, just pushing it through the chair, and twists.
I was gonna say, Rosemary has a bunch of scars. Her sisters generally do not.
And she kind of like pulls the blade slowly out, turning towards you. And she takes like a casual lick of the side of the blade, like licking up the blood.
It's so hot.
Fuck.
And
Mommy?
she says, I hope you understand who's in charge of this situation.
To be
Good.
honest, it hasn't been entirely clear who's really in charge of this land until now, so I'm glad that you finally set things straight. I sound sarcastic, but I have no social graces. I'm sure you'll understand.
You're here to save Darkon.
Sure.
This is one word for it.
I've actually heard of your Mistwardens. I thought they were a myth. I'm also...
Not a myth?
Huh? No,
Not a myth?
I'm also interested in saving Darkon. I've gathered some information across lands outside. I have a bit of an understanding of how the Mistlands work. As I'm sure you do, right, Mistwardens?
Well, just a bit.
While... No, never mind.
The thing Darkon needs to survive is obvious to me how to fix this problem. I've been trying to fix it for years now. So grateful that the Mistwardens have deigned to send 5 people into Darkon to fix all the problems that us Darkonians can't bear to fix ourselves. But maybe you can help me.
Maybe.
We
Yeah,
are
this-
here to help.
If you're willing to work with us, sure, why not?
That's why we're here. Yes.
How's Armand doing?
Armand, I was just about to say, is like staring at his mom's corpse. He looks to you. His eyes are like filled with fear, despair. Tears are like very openly welling up in his eyes. And he's just kind of like shaking back and forth, trying to hold on to the emotion. The Baron turns to you and says, the Mistwardens, the saved Darkon, it needs a ruler. This all started when Azalin abandoned post. One individual to rule all of Darkon, right? That would solve the problem.
Yeah.
The only thing I need to make that happen is a crown. And
So
I think
you're gonna be the ruler of Darkon? That's what we're hearing?
Yes. I'm the only one that's held this place together as is for some time. I'm the only one who's managed to keep her city from falling into riots or plague or from being one giant cult. We survive here in the Bay.
And some of you survive.
The strong.
Don't bring up the serial killers, Rosemary. Don't bring up the serial killers. Oh, that was out loud.
You're going to help me get a crown, and in exchange, I'll leave your friend alone. I'll leave you all, let you all walk out of the city, and you're looking for your sister. I can tell you some of what Basil's been up to. I don't know where
thank goodness.
I don't know where she is now, but I can tell you what she was doing while she was in the Bay. Agreed?
Guys, this seems fine. I mean, it solves the problem.
Killed somebody.
We would be in a bad position to disagree at this current juncture.
Yeah.
Who's to say she's not gonna kill him anyways?
Well, look around. Look at all of these fine, upstanding agents of the Gargot.
Oh yeah, is Thorn in the room?
She is in the room, and she does not look. She looks like she's barely holding her shit together after like watching the Baron in action.
Oh, so did she not know they were actually alive?
How many are around?
There's 5 agents in the room. And the Baron herself. The Baron seems to be like kind of like dangling her sword casually, like just holding the hilt, like swinging it back and forth in one hand, just kind of like eyeing Armand and like humming a little tune as she like waits for you to talk.
What a psychopath. That's out of character. That's not in character.
But she's so hot.
Hmm.
She's like a giant red flag. It's so attractive.
I think that we have no choice but to accept this bargain for now.
She turns. Have we come to an agreement?
Where are we going?
Oh, the smart one of the group. I'm glad at least one of you is.
Didn't we all just sort of say together? Can she not hear?
Oh, I only heard Tobias ask where we're going.
Oh, no, I mean, like, we were basically all saying, I mean, we just take the deal, right? Let's just take the deal. And did she just not hear us saying we're taking it? Okay.
Buster didn't say anything.
Yeah, Sully didn't say anything either.
Oh, so it's just Olin and Rosemary.
She
You
kind
guys
of
are
like,
kind of speaking for the group, but I've stayed silent still, just kind of still staring at Lady Vashon.
yeah, and her the Baron smiles again and says, "You'll be taking a little explorationary trip into the Undercrypt." And with that, we're going to end the session.
Oh, we were planning on going there anyway. How convenient.
Oh.
Thank you for watching and sticking with us for our exciting adventure. We'll find out next week whether our heroes survive, thrive, or take a dive down in the Undercrypt below the city. Until next time.